Mr. Joe.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, it's like we got this thing up here. You know, you go through this treacherous winter, and then I've started to understand now why Minnesotans are pessimists. They don't buy into hope. Everything's a struggle here, even if it's nice. It's a struggle.
Why?
Because you get through this frozen winter, these gray days where the sun, it just doesn't even, I don't understand the atmospheric whatever, but they're short gray days. It's cold. And then you get a week like this, middle of January, well, late January, the sun comes out, the roads thaw, it hits 50, like you put a t-shirt on because you feel tough. And you're like, yeah, we made it. But it's not even February 1st. We're going to get walloped again. It's going to get cold again. It's going to kick us in the teeth again. It's going to crush all our hopes and dreams of warmth and happiness for, this is why they have the groundhog, I think. This is why he's going to say, nope, you're going to get 6 more weeks of winter. When is that? That's that coming up, huh?
February 2nd, I think.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. Is that like a nationwide thing? It's Groundhog Day, or is it mostly just?
Well, there's a few.
Pennsylvania.
I mean, I know there's the real one. The one you're loyal to is the old Punxsutawney Phil, but I think there's a few different, local local chapters of groundhogs. I don't know. Maybe they look for a pig fart or something here. I'm not sure.
You got to find that out.
Yeah, does the pig fart on? I don't know. I'm completely making that up. I have no idea. So there's a few Minnesotans in the audience this morning. Zivs and Bird at Snake X. Maybe they know what the local thing is of how we.
Is it mostly when you talk to people, you know how everybody is. It's like the thing that you talk about that comes up. Oh, it's a beautiful day. Oh, it's really cold. Oh, it's really hot. So is it like? Better enjoy this while you can, like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything's. Well, good luck, dummy. Don't enjoy this because it's gonna go straight back to hell.
Don't enjoy this now because it's going to be worse later.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
it always like kind of cracks me up. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna not enjoy right now because it's going to be worse later. It's so strange.
To which I'm like, well, there is a season of summer. Like that is a real thing. It's going to come. Spring will come. So, Crystal says, wait till you see the robins. Then it's spring. Maybe. I don't think I've told you, Joe. Maybe I have.
What's that?
This could be my one thing. Kelly absolutely loves. Yeah, we have talked about this. The bird watching in middle age. That's how I've decided that we're, when people are telling me to watch birds is where it's at. Kelly has this bird feeder that has like a Ring doorbell camera on the front of it.
Yeah.
So like she's on a cruise right now in the Dominican Republic, and she's texting me pictures, screenshots of her bird feeder from my backyard. I'm like, I'm 12 feet from this thing. Send me pictures of sea turtles, not the birds in the backyard.
So that thing really works, huh?
Oh, she loves it, man. I'm sort of take it or leave it, but man, yeah, it makes her happy. And
we gave a few of them as gifts for Christmas.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To my parents, but really I just kind of like, you know how sometimes you give gifts just to see, like, I don't know, maybe you don't. I'm like excited to see how it works for them.
Okay.
And maybe I'll get one. Maybe I'll get one.
Oh, you're thinking about it. You're going to embrace the bird culture, huh?
Yeah, I can't keep stuff like that in my head though. Like I would just be like, oh, that's a cool bird. Like I wouldn't be able to, like I am with pythons, I wouldn't be able to keep all of the different kinds of birds in my head. I don't know. It
Well,
just doesn't.
you go down the rabbit hole. Like, well, you decide if the rabbit hole called you, then you would know. If it didn't
I
call
mean,
you,
we'll see.
yeah, then you
We'll
just be like,
see.
yeah, it's a neat bird, you know?
Yeah, so I've thought about it. Yeah, getting into watching birds. They are quite magnificent.
You know, just be careful. Just a heads up, like when people really get into it, you know, like the harmonica players that have like a vest with all 12 keys of harmonica that they can grab at any given moment in case somebody wants to jam an E flat, which never happens. That bird watchers like have that for like their binoculars and their field guide and hat or
Really?
something. Yeah, there's like bird watching vests, like, and they look eerily eerily as odd as like the guys that wear like the tactical vests where you're like, are we planning an ambush here, guys? What's
What are
going
we
on?
doing?
You're just prepared. Which is funny because I think bird watchers and those tactical dudes are on opposite ends of a lot of
Right.
thoughts.
Yes.
And yet they're really close in their fashion.
Yeah. Speaking of birds.
Yes. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Go birds.
How did
Go
that?
birds.
So for the audience that doesn't know, Joe is from Philly, and he's a birds guy. Chelsea is from Buffalo, or claims Buffalo is the homeland, especially sports wise. Didn't work out so well for Buffalo this weekend. How did that go?
No.
How did that play in the household, man? Like, I know you won, but then you must have been like, did you gauge how much you could like gloat after, since they didn't play each other?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't gloat. I was rooting. I really wanted the Bills to win, definitely. And then we would cross the bridge when we got there, you know, the problematic Eagles Bills Super Bowl. Now I don't have to worry about that now. That's a pretty good thing. But yeah, I was bummed out, and probably actually, you know what happened? We watched the Eagles game. It was great, 55 points. It was fantastic, wonderful. Stopped that young, great quarterback on the Commanders.
Jaden Daniels, yeah.
Yeah. And then the Bills game, Chelsea started to feel sick. So we just like went to bed and watched it in bed, and she got like so sick that like she didn't really watch the end of the game, which was kind of a blessing, actually.
Yeah, well, as you say, you got to spruce up the story. You got to say she started vomiting because the game got so, you know, like you can keep it true, but you can really play into the narrative here.
Well, I didn't want to reveal too much about Chelsea betraying.
That's true. Yeah, it's probably better to be a little.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Actually, I was just having fun with the concept rather than the details. Yeah.
She was distracted from the game and the depression that it brought. So it wasn't so. I mean, the next day it was kind of sad, but yeah, I mean, I was happy with the day. I don't know what I'm going to do for the Super Bowl. I'll probably just like sit and watch it in darkness, away from everyone. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Well, my one thing actually revolves a little bit around Chelsea's Bills this week.
Oh, okay. All
right.
What's that? What is that?
Well, we did a show with the concept. I don't know that we were advocating. We were exploring. We're explorers here. We're philosophical wanderers rather than conclusionary deciders. We talked about, rather than basically it's better to not make or to avoid stupidity rather than to seek, innovative brilliance, right? We got some birds out there.
I got a Great Dane in my front yard.
Free and loose.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's not a good thing, man.
Anyway, sorry, I'm a little
Okay.
distracted.
I'm glad you're inside. I'd be distracted by that.
I should probably text Chelsea because I think she's on her way out.
That Great Dane would eat her Prius, man.
But what were you saying? I'm sorry.
Well, so we were talking about avoiding stupidity versus seeking out brilliance, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so, like, the Chiefs are on their way to the third, a chance for a three-peat after winning 2 in a row. Yeah, we know this.
Yeah,
and I think I don't know off the top of my head, but I think they won another one not in a row. So I think they're on like 4 out of 5 years, and I think it's 7 or 8 AFC championships in a row. Like Pat Mahomes has never not gone to the AFC championship. Crazy, right? Okay, I mean Jordan-esque, and props to him. This is not a hating on Mahomes thing. What if I told you the Bills, way back on draft day, when the Chiefs decided, hey, we might like to trade up and get that Mahomes guy. Who do you think that they called to work out that trade with?
Oh, it was the Bills?
Shot. It was the Bills. Okay. I could forgive them that because maybe they didn't know that Mahomes was going to be this great. I think he came out of Texas Tech, pretty solid. Now this year, he's been to 7 in a row AFC championships, about to be 4 out of 5 at the time, 3 out of 4 Super Bowls. The Chiefs decide, hey, this Xavier Worthy dude, he looks pretty good. We hear he's the fastest guy in the draft. We were pretty good when we used to have the fastest guy in the NFL before we traded him to the Dolphins. We might like to get him. Who could we call to trade up to get that pick this year? Want to take a guess?
Bills.
The Bills. Stop answering the phone when the Chiefs call if you want to beat them. Quit doing the stupid thing. Like, in our household, we play this game, Catan, which requires trading of wealth and goods. And it's a game of world dominance, but you got to have a trading partner at times. If you know the person across the table from you is about to win, you don't trade with them, no matter what they want, no matter how sweet the deal. Do not trade with them. Like, everybody else seems to get this. Who do the Bills play every year that has become like the storyline of what their nemesis is? Why would they answer the phone? Stop answering the phone.
Yes, don't do that.
So
it's funny. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, so the denouement is that the Chiefs got Worthy. The Bills, I believe, got Coleman. And of the two, I think there's a strong argument to be made that if the Bills had just sat tight, they'd be pretty good.
I don't, not to get too far into football, but I don't think, I think the Bills have a problem on more on defense than anything else. But and I really do like Coleman a lot.
I do. I do have to say, in fairness, I really do enjoy the Bills. I was rooting hard for them. I loved the story that it turned. I heard that nugget and I was like, "Get out of here! Get out of here!"
Well, so how does that fit into the context of our conversation about don't do it? Oh, so
the Bills were overthinking it, going, you know what? We could get a whole lot more. We'll just pass on this Mahomes guy and we'll get a fool's ransom for it. Yeah, okay. Same thing with, okay, we're going to trade down so that they could go get Worthy, but we're gonna get the gravy on top. In the long run, this is gonna make sense for us because we're out thinking it here.
I had this thing. I had a conversation with Chelsea, and I was like, "Oh, I really wish you could, like the Bills would go to the Super Bowl and win it, and then you would have that feeling of your team winning it." And
hi, sweetheart. I wish this for you, that this would be really great if one day maybe you could possibly ever, even though your team went 4 times in a row in your youth and won 0, but it'd be great if they could do this for you. Go ahead.
Because I said it's really strange because I didn't experience this until the Eagles won in 2018. And it's like, it's like a month where you feel pretty good about life. It's like a month-long thing. And it's so funny because you feel like, yes, we did it. We did. I didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah.
I contributed nothing, but I still feel like proud of something that I did. And you feel like you're a part of something. It's such a weird phenomenon that you feel you're watching, a team of people win a game, and you feel that you're a part of it in some way. And really, you don't have anything to do with it. You've contributed nothing. There's nothing. I mean, but you still feel as though like we did it, guys.
Yeah. Well, it's like the ultimate building of a community. Like you say, like inherently, if we were to list like, all right, really what value do sports bring? It's a great release and we have a blast, but really they figured out how to get, I don't know, just round up to an easy number, 50,000, 80, whatever, tens of thousands of people on any given day. And then, like you say, across the world, it's a lifestyle. I mean, it's the ultimate lifestyle brand. And
like, I feel on Sunday, I felt connected to Philadelphia and all those crazy people out on Broad Street, just having a blast and impromptu. They go out and they have an impromptu parade of just nuts, just going crazy for people getting together and just being happy with each other. It's just such a cool thing to see.
Yeah.
And then all of, you have all the media, and it's like, you have the media of like, oh, look at how crazy these people are. Look at they've destroyed. Yeah, you have some people who are destroying things and stuff. That's stupid. But really, I mean, those clips of Broad Street, they were so cool to me because it was just hundreds and hundreds, thousands probably, of people coming together and just being happy to get together about something that a group of guys that they really did not contribute to did on a field earlier that day. It's just such a weird phenomenon.
It is. I was in Gainesville when we won the first basketball national championship against Ohio State, I believe. And yeah, everybody piled out into the streets. We were just partying. This is actually what it's called. I didn't make this name up. I don't mean anything by it, but there's an area of Gainesville called the Student Ghetto, and it's where the students live. Like they were like somebody lit their couch on fire and threw it off their second floor porch. They're like, this is what this equals. Let's get our furniture because we're hammered, set it on fire, and throw it out.
This is what this equals.
Right.
This is what this equals.
And even myself, I was there with a group of friends. This is after my days of being enrolled there. And we, somewhere there's a picture of this. I'll have to find it sometime. I'm wearing a sport coat, an orange and blue feather boa, and I put like football eye black on because it was a basketball game. I don't know. I'm out and about in Gainesville looking like this. And the plan was after the game that we were going to meet and convene out in front of the bar and call an Uber or whatever. Well, we won. There's no way a vehicle's getting anywhere near where we were. So I was like, well, I got to go kill some time. I'll go over to the grocery store, or the gas station, and I bought a case of beer, which everybody, out in the street, whatever. And I remember I was like, I really want to get home. I've been out in this mess for a long time. I want to get back to the hotel. And a guy, I assume he was homeless, but I'm not sure. You look like you'd had a rough go of things. And I think the story doesn't make me look good ultimately, but it is a funny scene. He comes up and he says, hey man, can I have a beer? And I said, I'm going to make you an even better deal. And he said, what? And I said, I'm going to give you $20 and you could go buy a case of beer, but I'd like your bike because I need to get back to my hotel. And he goes, that sounds great. So I gave him.
Was he like, Yeah, that's my bike.
Exact. That's the part where I don't feel bad about it because I don't think that he paid a penny for that bike, but I don't know. So I gave him $20 and I'm riding down University Avenue in Gainesville, case of beer in one hand, orange and blue feather boa sport coat on a bike, riding back to the DoubleTree. It was great.
Sports. That's sports.
Yeah,
That's
dumb decisions. That's community right there. If that ain't it, I don't know what is.
That's community right there. Come on. Helping each other out.
That's right. So, well, no, so now I don't know. So I have no affiliation with either team. I know it's the sort of the flavor of the day, the soup du jour to root against Mahomes because we've got Mahomes fatigue. Like we're tired of it. There's supposed to be parity and opportunity. Let's go over something that's never been done. Like I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I like the Eagles. I like the Saquon Barkley story. The team runs him out, and he's like, "All right, I'll go to your division rival and literally have the best year of most yards ever in not regular season, but the full season." And I kind of like it. Plus, like, there's always that little underlying drama of what's Sirianni going to do? How's he going to, wet the bed this week? And yet they're in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years and doing A-okay.
Yeah. If you think about the 4 teams that were left, it's really like the worst outcome for the Super Bowl because it was the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And it's kind of like, all right, you wanted this young upstart quarterback from the Commanders. Plus,
lots of great storylines.
The owner is out of there for the first time, and they turn that team around, and they get to the NFC Championship. That's fantastic. Then we have the Bills had never. That terrible story, never won a Super Bowl, been great for many years. It's really the worst outcome to have this just repeat of 2 years ago. But
their curse.
But I'm happy.
Their curse is becoming Cub-like or Red Sox-ish when you really start to add up the closeness and the just how close they've come to tasting. Like that crazy pass from help me out, the quarterback of the Bills, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
It hit the tight end in the bicep. Like that would have put him in field goal range, and the guy dropped it. I know this isn't a sports show, so anyway,
yes, I know what you're talking about.
It's just such a and I guess in a lot of ways, a fool's errand to begin. I mean, just purely statistically, you got a 1 in 32 chance of making it every year, and people pour billions into this. And like the most valuable team in the league hasn't been to a championship, an NFC championship in like 30 years, the Cowboys. And we talk about anyway, interesting storylines. Speaking of controversy and people that sell and things that sell and topics and all, like the Cowboys owner, like he has figured that out. Like he has figured out, doesn't matter if we win or lose, doesn't matter if we're good or bad. Just keep people talking about us. Just keep swerving and doing weird things. And, as long as they're talking about us, we're going to make some money. And that he has done. My thought today, Joe, is, it stemmed from Kelly being out of town. I don't sleep very well when Kelly's not here, which is a whole different. I know, it's cute, right? So when she's here, she goes to bed much earlier than I do. So I never watch TV in bed. Like when I go to bed, I go to bed because she's already asleep. Well, she's not here. I can't sleep. So I fire up the TV, and I don't watch much TV. What do I stumble into? Right. I stumble into the Jerry Springer documentary on Netflix. What a dumpster fire of a show. Oh my goodness. But he overtook Oprah. Think about that. Daytime TV, Jerry Springer. There was an era that Jerry Springer overtook Oprah, and it was all controversy. And I really enjoy pro wrestling. There's a book by a guy named Eric Bischoff that was running WCW, and they were going head to head with the Monday Night Raw, with the Monday Night Wars against the WWE. they beat him in the ratings 83 weeks. He has a podcast called 83 Weeks, so I can remember it pretty easily. He wrote a book called Controversy Creates Cash. Okay, pretty good. And, we've seen all sorts of these things. There's always controversy in the reptile industry. Like we have to look like this band of misfits that are just like infighting and stabbing each other in the back, not literally, some literally. And I've always wanted to avoid it. And I don't think that there's anything good to it. Yet the highest clicks this week are because some comedian that has a podcast named Theo Vaughn called the ball python world a pyramid scheme. And now the big debate is, are we a pyramid scheme? And we've had this debate. It happens all the time. Now this like podcaster that knows nothing of what he's talking about, did no research, just off the cuff, conversationally making jokes. Now that like represents us. And I'm like, part of me feels like, you know what? I'm going to go like evil Adam. I'm going to go dark. I'm going to go like improper royals. Like I'm like, it's not me. I don't want to fake who I am, but it just drives me bonkers. Like, what's the business model here?
Well, wait a second. So it makes you go dark, meaning like I'm gonna fight against this thing that this guy's
no, not fight against it. Join it.
Join it. And
yeah, if it's that easy to build your brand and get known and overtake Oprah and the ratings, like let's get on board. Let's go do this thing. Obviously, that's not my comfort zone, but
yeah, I know. It seems odd for you. Yes, it seems odd. And what would you be controversial about either? And two, I mean, okay, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I understand the premise of what you're talking about. Yes, and I don't like. I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference when you talk about like. Football sports is an established industry. Wrestling was around for so long, and it peaked. Its peak was probably during that time, where then you had the rise of WCW that rivaled WWE, right?
Ted Turner money versus Vince McMahon money. Yeah,
those were established things. Like, I think this is kind of, I don't know if it would be a good strategy to create maybe controversy within the industry, but I don't know about controversy outside of the industry. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to go picking fights with like the Jack Russell Terrier community. Like, I think, that's a whole new level. It'd be like, all right, I'll be like, all right, guys, I'm going to win. I'm done with the internal controversy. Who can I go pick slap fights with? Like,
and you would pick the Jack Russell Terriers. They really get on your nerves.
No, I like them. You know what I mean? So it'd be all fake. See, at least in wrestling, it's all fake, and it becomes noteworthy if it trickles over into real life. It's when it's, the Cowboys or Jerry Springer or whatever other, controversies we love. Hell, even our I got to tread softly here. But both sides of the argument, or both sides of the coin, claim this about the others. Even our like news sources now are like, it's a controversy that sells, not the meat of the of the action. So no, I just picked that as like, I don't know. I'm assuming there's a rich community of terrier enthusiasts out there. The hot rod community. Maybe I could pick a fight with some car guys, and we'll have a real go of that'll galvanize our community.
Are there?
I don't know.
I mean, have you seen this work within the industry, that there's like a controversial figure and everybody knows them because they're controversial, not necessarily because
absolutely
they do great stuff?
Absolutely. Yes. There are, how do I put this? They're both very successful. There's two guys that have really like focused on like No, let's have fun. Let's be, and I do think that they both do it in good nature. I don't think they're actually out to hurt people. I think one in the past realizes, maybe that's not my brand anymore. And the other one still like just really embraces it, but it has caused me headaches. It's risked, sponsorships before because it casts a shadow of like, oh, all podcasts are like this, these freewheeling, there's no guardrails on these guys. Why are we going to put our logo on them? Because they become a liability.
Yeah, they might say something. Yeah, all of that. Yeah,
right. And so we're full up on that, man. That is our cup runneth over when it comes to that. There are definitely people that won't go to certain shows because they don't want to run into other people who said this or that, or they said this or that, and then they like blast it. Like it becomes their brand. Like, oh, I can't go to that show because I'm so controversial. It's kind of it feels like a lack of substance. And I don't claim to be filling the world with substance when I'm talking about riding around in a feather boa on a questionably owned bike. I get it. But
that was attached to a particular phenomenon that is interesting.
Right.
I mean, as we connected it to something that is
a different time in my life. Now, on the other hand, if my entrance every morning was that I, pulled up on a little BMX and skid across the floor here and I had my feather boa and my eye black, maybe I could get some viewers. Maybe that is the way.
I think that would be kind of awesome. That would be great. But people would go, we have to get Adam and we have to see what's wrong with him. And we've got to get him checked out.
I disagree. Nobody would care. They would eat it up. Like look at the jackass phenomenon. Nobody checked on those guys. They were like, yes, put a taser on your testicles again. Do it again. Film it. Yep. Okay. Get your buddy to do it. Now do it while you're riding a bull. That'll be fun.
It's funny. It's funny that you bring up Jackass. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I remember I took my dad to see Jackass 2 in the theater. And he didn't want to laugh at it, but I could tell, like, it was like he was holding in laughter the whole time.
He was dismayed to laugh about that in front of his son.
And the first, I can't even describe the first thing that they do if anybody's seen Jackass 2, the first thing that they do in Jackass 2, I was like, what have I done to my father? And we left the theater and he goes, Joey, you can't tell anybody that we went to see that movie. He didn't want anybody to know that he went to see that.
Did you ever get him to acknowledge that he enjoyed it?
I knew that he enjoyed it. I knew that he enjoyed it because he was laughing the whole time and trying to like hold it in. But anyway, I digress. But maybe I don't digress. There's probably something in that story that speaks to this in some way that it draws people in that maybe are not, maybe would never, and maybe wouldn't be involved.
I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed the first Jackass movie. I actually find Johnny Knoxville incredibly charismatic and pretty enjoyable to hear when he's talking or telling stories. There's something to that. Sort of pivoting directly back to reptiles. Elias I agree, is exactly right. It's the community's fault on the outside. See us as a scheme. We don't promote ourselves well. The breeder striving to breed for other breeders. That is a component of the industry model, which is a amalgamation of everybody else's model. My own personal model is I sort of have the 80-20 rule. Maybe 20% of what I sell goes to other breeders, and most of it just goes to enthusiasts and maybe future dreamers that might breed one day. So
wait, let's just talk about that for a second. Let's bring that comment back up because I'm kind of interested in it.
I gotta say though, hang on real quick, Joe. I love that my name appeared in the same sentence as beef. Like I am. That's now we're getting there. This has a nice ring to it, Adam has some beef.
They're saying that you can. that they can't imagine you. It's
Oh,
anti-beef, really.
don't worry about it. I'm just happy that they ended in the two words ended in the same sentence. I'll figure out how to get to the actual the substance of it later. Okay, go ahead,
Adam,
Joe.
the anti-beef.
That's right.
Okay,
I don't know.
so how is the industry promoting itself to outsiders? I mean, is there some kind of effort uh,
There is
to
actually
promote?
there's more than just some kind of effort. There's an organization called USARK, the United States Association of Reptile Keepers, which
I'm aware
is
of that. Yes.
incredibly legitimate, incredibly valuable, and I think we forget how valuable and important it is sometimes. Laws and legalities and threats settle down, and we don't think about USARK until the next politician goes, I need something that everybody can get on board with. Let's ban these lizards or whatever. And then the value of USARK pops up again, and we all get back, our heads right on it. There's a lot of movements within all of this is the beauty and the worst part of our industry that I love. But it comes with the risks. There's no figurehead. There's no commissioner. There's no, this is what we do. This is our mission statement. And I like that. I don't need a gatekeeper. I came here because of that. I don't need the HR department in the ball python industry or the reptile industry. I like that I can walk my walk, talk my talk, let my actions speak for themselves. And that will differentiate me from the maniacs. But sometimes the inmates overtake the asylum, so to speak. And that gets frustrating. And I've used the analogy a lot of the marijuana industry and lobby from 30 years ago. It was Spicoli, it was Cheech and Chong, it was what's that? I even hesitate to call them a band, but it was like Insane Clown Posse. They would have 6-foot bongs on stage that they you would climb into the bong or something. I don't know. It was just a bad look for them. That's what when people thought what the grand vision of a marijuana user, it was one of those three tropes versus
right. Yeah.
Hey, here's a useful way to get a great night of sleep, and it's probably better than downing 4 martinis for you. Okay, not
right.
bad,
Yeah.
Or recreationally or whatever. But I thought that they did a wonderful job, and that we could long take a lesson from that. But do we want to trade off we'll all, we're going to have a union head here. We're going to have people that decide what we do. No, thank you. I don't want any part of that. It's kind of a weird situation to me. Again, it's the beauty and our greatest weakness is that it is totally free market, totally laissez-faire, with no guardrails. And sometimes we just go right off the rails.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the things that you've talked about is it's people within the industry can tell, oh, this is a good breeder. This is not such a good breeder. People outside the industry, they might not be able to tell that. So I wonder. So I think about the progression of an industry and how there would be some kind of board that determines this is this is USARK approved or something like that. Does that, when I say something like that, oh, this breeder is USARK approved or USARK certified, or some other organization that develops, and there's it goes, okay, it legitimizes, if you get their stamp of approval, it legitimizes your business, right? And what would be the criteria there? How do people react? First of all, how do you react? But I also want to hear from the folks on the chat. How does that make you cringe?
Makes me cringe.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I'll give you sorry, one thing we got to circle back to. Troy brought up, I'll take him on his word. I don't know this to be a fact, but Troy's a good source. How amazing is that Monster Energy drinks are sponsoring the Southeast Reptile Expo. It's huge. It is huge to see mainstream cultural products crossing over. And I even have more to say on that topic in a minute. But to your point, Joe, that's a great question. And I will only speak to myself and my thoughts on it. So I think there's a group based in the UK, and they're called I think it's called Responsible Reptile Keeping. I know nothing about the qualifications. I know nothing about the people. I don't know anything about them. And I don't know even if this is actually their stated goal. This is my perception and my understanding, but it plays to your point, because I'm sure people are like, well, if you don't know anything, Adam, why are you speaking on it? My understanding, or what it seems like, is they either have or are compiling sort of a list of standards, a list of, this is how you do it, and this is our way of doing it, and this is what we say, and you could be dubbed a responsible reptile keeper if you do this the way that we say to do this. I don't know. I don't know that to be specifically true, but just to use it as an example, immediately I unfollow. I don't want reels of lectures of how it should be. I don't want somebody, I don't want it. I don't want any part of it. And that's not fair to them, because for all I know, they're the most experienced veterinary certified keepers that have the best insight. I don't like it. I like being left alone. I like not being regulated. Now, with that said, I follow all the laws in my state. I've engaged a consultant with the Minnesota DNR. There's a veterinarian that I refer to often, probably even more than I should, and they're more than kind to me to help me and guide me. And so I'm confident that I do things to the best of my ability, but I don't want somebody going, you're in the club and you're out of the club.
But I'm not quite saying that. I'm not quite saying a regulatory body. What I am saying is you can go, okay, I'll put it in terms of both of things that we have done, right? So you can go to anybody and get your taxes done. You can get, to be a tax preparer, you go and you get your preparer identification number from the IRS. It's like $20.
Right.
And you put a sign out and you go, I'll do your taxes for you. Or you can go to a CPA. And a CPA has years of education. They're considered the kind of the top of the line accountant that you can go to. It's not saying that you can't do the things. It's just giving a legitimized legitimacy to what you're doing, right? And saying this person has gone through the steps to learn everything they need to know in order to do this. Now, before you react to that, I would say you can go to anybody, and you can go to a wine enthusiast and go, and the wine enthusiast can do a tasting. But what you really want to do is you want to go to a sommelier. And so it's not saying that there's going to be a body that legitimizes things, but there is something about becoming this kind of getting to this tier that says, okay, I'm really gonna listen to this guy. I'm gonna learn, or this woman, and I'm gonna learn, things about the reptile industry that maybe somebody who just jumped in and put a sign out doesn't know.
And that, it's probably a fair point, and it is a fair point. Excuse me. It's a little close to home for me, because I don't know who would decide that. And there are, as you can see from the comments, there are different camps on different beliefs of things. And I would rather state my case on a morning coffee show of, what I do well or don't do, or create my own brand. And my brand is transparency. My brand is showing what I do. It is, Jeremy was in the audience earlier. He texted me last night, hey, Adam, how do you keep your snakes in this manner? Do you prefer this or that? And I tell him, being, see, everybody hates this idea. Although,
no, look at this.
But look, what's amazing is in every industry, we absolutely would rely on it. We wouldn't walk in. We wouldn't just be like, hey, here's a guy at the flea market that'll do my taxes. He's probably good because he ironed his tablecloth today. But we would do that at a trade show, at a reptile show.
And there are accountants that are out there that are not certified public accountants, and they could be good at it, but they could be really bad at it too. And we've seen both of them. So, and then you have people that I know. I go to this place that I love for wine, but I know, like, it would probably be better if I was talking to somebody who had years and years of training and experience and was certified in some way. Yes.
But on the flip side, here's the flip side. And this happens because I've seen that in the wine world, and actually I've tried to fight against it. Joe, you walk in and you're like, yeah, I'll take a burger and a white Zinfandel. And the sommelier goes, okay, thank you. Right. And suddenly you feel that big because all you want is some fermented grape juice, a little bit of a buzz, and a damn burger. You didn't need a lecture. You didn't need all the judgment and all of that.
But that's where the analogy breaks down. And I understand that the analogy breaks down there, but we're not talking about wine. We're talking about actual living things.
That's true. That's true.
So I don't know. I'm not promoting this. I'm trying to get, and obviously I'm trying to get a feel for what that would be. And I think there is a character of the industry as well to be wild, to be because you're stepping outside of the mainstream, and you don't want to be like you all, by breeding snakes, breeding reptiles, you're stepping outside of the mainstream of what people do, which is a completely ridiculous idea, right? Because a lot of people do that and they do it privately, but you're making a stand and going, I'm doing something at stepping outside of that. And so any kind of, a legitimizing body would be averse to the personalities that were involved in this industry. Am I wrong in that? Or
no, you're not wrong on it. And again, the macro concept, I think people generally like. It's figuring out yeah, look at Joe the villain. I'm telling you, turn to the dark side, Joe. Here comes the controversy. We're doing it, baby. We're doing it. I told you. You had no idea I was going to make you the guy. You had no idea. I
thought we were going to talk about you. I don't want to be controversial. As an outsider, I'm just.
But the idea becomes, okay, who would this be? We like, as a society, we like democracy. We like having a voice and a say. I didn't get to have a say in who's regulating me when I hear people go, we're going to do this. We could become maybe not a governing body, but a certifying body. And you're like, good for you. Take your gold star and get out of here. Right. Like I don't, that's, and I'm looking for all the reasons why, in my mind, from my biased position, I'm looking for all the reasons where I could go, don't do this, go right away. Troy brings up a good point that says there are shows like Southeast Reptile Expo that have veterinarians walking around the show inspecting the animals. Those that don't know, and Joe specifically, Siri is put on by Bob Vu, a fantastic leader of the industry. Honestly, I have no issue with any of Bob's success. And I don't know, I'm sure there's some story about him riding down the street in a college town where I'd be like, I don't know, that's a little questionable, but otherwise he's great. He's fantastic. I will take that exact example. And I think here's the thing. I think anything can be bastardized. Tinley has a veterinarian that walks around and inspects every animal. And I will tell you, and I will say on my record, that veterinarian, to my experience, does nothing but inspect my credit card payment and the $50 that I have to pay that person. It is about 38 seconds of inspection. If I can make $50 in 38 seconds, I'd be there too. And so I see it as a racket. I see it as a sham on top of a sham. I see it as a tax that I have that show gets more and more and more stinking expensive at every corner. And it's all under this guise of a good thing, and it is required. It's a state mandate, so you got to do it. But I don't care for that particular one. Again, there are other veterinarians that I don't know that veterinarian personally. They have an opportunity to make money. Good for them. Go do it. But the vet that I engage, I'm very happy with their guidance. They are unquestionably insightful on reptiles and qualified. So that's where I go with. But I like having my choice to do that versus you will see this,
right?
Like, for example, I'm dealing with a state inspector right now. We're arguing over a piece of code in the laws, in the statutes. And I asked him, I said, can you show me where in the statutes it says this? And he got offended. He started telling me about how all the favors he's done to me, and we could rewrite expectations here if that's how I want to behave. And I'm like,
jeez.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, I'm allowed to ask. It's a law. I'm just asking you to show me the law, and then I'll abide by it, kind of thing. So let me see.
Yeah. So here's another.
This is I got it, Troy. I get your input, but that has not been mine on three Tinley shows now. I've never had them look beyond the glass of just like looking at me, looking at their pad, and boom, there it is. And I get the inspection form. I have them.
In some cases, this kind of thing doesn't work too. I mean, we could make the analogy of other parts of things that we've done too. I'm sure you've had food inspectors that, you go, that are no good. I was a hospice chaplain for a while. There's something called, it's like certified pastoral education or something. Never had any credits in certified pastoral education. And I was alongside chaplains who did have many certified pastoral education units. And I don't want to say I was better, but I was better than them. And if I wanted to get a job as a chaplain again, I don't think I would be able to, because that certifying body has become so much a part of that industry. I don't know if you call it an industry, but so much part of that I wouldn't be able to come and do that. Somebody who has that experience and wants to do that, but I wouldn't be able to get a job.
I find first. Troy, apologies. Thank you for the clarification. You might have caught a little stray from my personal experience at Tinley. I didn't mean to. Troy is not the problem with that scenario. He was to clarify. He's talking about the vets at Siri, and this is great because the vet was actually a vendor as well. Which I'm on board with, and we probably are talking about either the same or similar vets. Joe, I am fascinated, and I don't even know how to say it right. I'm fascinated by the idea of religious governing bodies. This is a gold mine. This is even better. Like, because we can, and well, I don't know, but a lot of
clinical pastoral education, that's what it's called.
I don't think most religions are immune from this. There are people that go to school, get degrees, masters, postgrad, all that stuff. And then there's other people that have religious titles that were like, yeah, how'd you get that? And it's just what they are, is what they're like, this is me, this is who I am. And I don't think there's religions that are immune to that. So I'm put it this way. In my own house, there's some of that debate of religion. So I'm not throwing darts here, but okay. The food was great. Analogy. We're dealing with stuff that you're putting in your body. We're dealing with live animals with the reptiles. I think that there is somewhere a middle ground where most people in the industry would go, yeah, here's some baseline stuff that we'd like to see that we can all get behind. How about you can't have mite infestations on your animals when you come to a show? That's pretty good. You're probably right that if we kept it, pretty baseline. Like, hey guys, how about chicken? Let's all agree we want it not to be raw. Can we do that? Let's start there. How about that for an inspection? You got to store your chicken safely, and we're going to cook it thoroughly. I think that there probably is a baseline, and the show went to a different place from just the controversy. But to bring it all the way back to what Elias was saying, something like that would help us look more legitimate, because we are always facing an uphill battle. It's easy to go all the way back to one of the earliest stories about how serpents are evil, don't eat the apple kind of deal. And it's crazy, but we're up against a lot of that, to the only good snake is a dead one, to, oh, they're slimy. I don't know this to be a fact. I know it's a fact that I've heard it, and I think I've even seen some pre-production stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. The guy that put out Tiger King, his next thing is on the reptile industry. So we're about to face some serious headwinds, and that's the stuff that makes me get thinking about it. And so when I'm like, oh, it'd be easy to embrace the controversy and to get in the muck and to go all Eric Bischoff on this stuff, I'm like, no, we got enough headwinds. We got enough headaches. Like, I need a dude in a suit to stand up and go, no, you dummies, it's not a pyramid scheme. Every generation is better than the one before. That's why we buy this stuff. That's why we improve the commodity. And when it's an improved commodity, we can sell it for more. No, it's not a pyramid scheme. Done. Like, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that would be my question then, right? So, I've heard of Theo Vaughn. I've never listened to his podcast, but
I haven't either. I don't know anything.
I kind of like, I kind of like that he has people on that are like, that are across the spectrum and things like that. I mean, it seems like a great guy, funny guy. I don't know anything about him though. I won't say that. He seems like a great guy.
But this wasn't posed as let me understand this ball python world. It was two guys going, hey, I know this effing idiot that got into this industry. It wasn't, hey, let me understand this. Why do you say that? Let's pick it apart. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, if let's say maybe it's not him. Let's say there is somebody who says something like that, who is open to learning more. Who does the industry anoint as the person who's going to be the spokesperson for people who say these types of things? Is there a person who's willing to do that? And would there be an agreement, a general agreement in the industry to put them forward and go, hey, why don't you have me on and talk to me about what you said?
Oh, any number of us with a microphone and a StreamYard account would love to get right now he's the hottest. Everybody's talking, get Theo Vaughn on. Yeah, let me just call him up. He's my buddy. You're the guy, Joe. You're the one that's got to. You're the savior. You got to go do this, man.
No.
That's a great. Your timing was great there, Bullish. So, and this is great too. At the end of the day, you're right. Like, people see through this. We know this isn't actual news. We know that this isn't actual reporting. And that goes all the way back to my initial question. This crap will float down the river. Like,
sure,
Joe,
yeah.
Had you yourself before this morning ever heard the expression pyramid scheme when it came to ball pythons?
No.
Neither had any effing other person. And you know what? Most people had no clue what the hell Theo Vaughn and this Caleb dude, who I didn't know his name was Caleb, were talking about, until we all amplified it because we wanted to get in on the controversy. Had we just ignored it like the teenager that's throwing a tantrum, it would have gotten over. It would have been gone. Nobody would have thought more about it, and we'd be moving on in a responsible way. Versus, ooh, look, I hit a nerve in the industry. I don't know what his next episode is, but it's probably going to be, hey, all these reptile yahoos are up in arms. Look at all these podcasts that I touched a nerve.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's fun. It is a great strategy. I mean, I'm sure that they had people listening in from the reptile industry that have never listened before. I mean, Is that?
Yeah.
Is that
Okay. Yeah. So is any press good press? Yeah. And Bullish, I get that. I get that there was a bubble after COVID, but that same thing happened in guitars. That same thing happened in cars. It happened with Harley Davidsons. The luxury extra industry was massive across the board, and ball pythons were definitely part of that. I benefited from it, absolutely. Yeah, Joe, to your point, would Troy says we need a reptile face like Justin or Bob or Miguel on his show. I'd throw my name in the hat. Yeah, put my name in there. I'm good. No, those guys are absolutely the right figureheads for that. Oh, funny. I didn't know that. I haven't watched it. I refuse to even add clicks to this nonsense. So I've only seen the reels that have thrown by in my Instagram feed. So Chris says that Jessica's thumbnail came up during the segment. Wow. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry, I'm running over you.
That's what we're talking about here with this topic. First of all, in order to speak intelligently about what went on with Theo and Caleb, and I don't want to call him an idiot because I didn't listen to it, but I feel as though
I don't know if he's an idiot as a person. His comments at the time was an idiot. That's what I'll stand by.
Okay, so I don't. But in order to speak intelligently, you have to go to the source, and so you go to the source and you listen to it, but then you're contributing to this controversy.
I was going to say, I don't want to give the guy the time of day. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to go on his show. I don't want to speak to it because if you ignore it, it'll go down the river. It's just like drama in a restaurant. I'm not going to engage in this nonsense. We're going to get through the shift and we're going to go on. We got money to make, guests to take care of, customers to make happy. Even a part of me this morning is how much time did I waste on this dumb topic? Because when I could have been doing something else that would add value to my customers, that I could mention, I got an inquiry over here. I could be emailing back and bringing value to a customer here instead of giving Caleb my time of day.
I think it's lucky that we have a timer because out of the hour, maybe 7 to 10 minutes, maybe somewhere in there. So I think we're pretty good. Yeah.
Okay. I know. We got to wrap this up. So I do disagree. I realize that Troy says there's 3.5 million subscribers that now thinks it's a scheme. I think some of them probably were like, huh, what does that mean? I think the most of them were like, okay, here's 99, here's one of 99 other things that they rant on any given day that don't even think twice about kind of deal. What I will say, and I said earlier that I had some thoughts on, and we are in overtime, so I appreciate the time, but we got a boogie here. I love what people like Bob and Troy and Nick are doing with their national shows. Bob posted a picture of a billboard yesterday, him in front of it, the Southeast Reptile Expo, that looked fantastic. It looked like a destination, a family outing. It looked like a professional conference was coming to a big metro area. And okay, yeah, there's all sorts of hot takes here. I don't know any of that to be true. There's one person's comment there. I can't accuse people of that. I might not like somebody, but I can't accuse anybody of that. I think Bob is and ARBC does a great job as well with their shows. I think these big national shows are a great face. And as much as I resent some of the restrictions and inspections and the cost and all of that, I do think that's the cost of cleaning up the image of the industry. And I think those guys are doing a great job of it. And you don't see them engaging in the controversies that I'm talking about. You don't hear, they don't give the time of day to that stuff. We go on and do the right thing and we put the next right foot forward. There's always going to be somebody talking smack about something stupid. And I guess to bring it all back to Jerry Springer and WCW, everybody that complained about them, well, they went on and kept doing their thing too. So there we go. Again, I don't know that a YouTube video is factual. Everybody's welcome. I know nothing about the topic. So that's audience comments there. Joe, what do you got fun this week, man?
What do I have? Just a lot of work. I'm staring down the barrel of a lot of work. That's all. Catching up on grading. I don't have anything fun this week. How about you?
Well, I got my spray foam installation in, and I have the inspection today at 10:30. So by this time next week, I should have sheetrock walls up and in place, and some electrical started to be run as well. So
that's awesome. That's
pretty
awesome.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for the spirited interaction today. Joe, thanks for the tolerance of my intolerance of certain ideas. You're a saint and a good man. I think you've been nominated to be the face of the industry. I'll second that. Let's go, guys. You could get your votes in for Joe. I don't know who he's running against or what title, but we could figure out what maybe we'll take some religious titles. We'll don you the bishop of the industry, and we'll look up to you. What do you think, guys? Have a great week. See you guys on Overtime. Thanks.